In the words of Nobel Laureate Nelson Mandela, sports has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire, the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to the youth in a language they understand. It creates hope in despair. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination. It has the ability to empower people and drive social change. Namaskar, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha. As you may have guessed, in Perspective today, we will talk about the significant role sports plays in empowering lives as well as the economy. Like every other sector, the sports industry also faced its share of challenges due to the COVID pandemic. Now, according to a report, revenue was contracted by 34% in the year 2020-21 for the sports industry. The Department of Sports was allocated over 2,100 crore rupees for the financial year 2020-21, the highest ever budget for sports. But due to the pandemic, it was revised to a little over 1,313 crore rupees. Nevertheless, the industry navigated through the challenges. In fact, the year 2021, if we look back, proved to be a remarkable one for Indian sports. India recorded its best medal haul at the Tokyo Olympics as well as the Paralympics. During the year, a number of initiatives were also announced by the government for the promotion and development of sports in the country. Now, as we head towards another financial year, the budget for which will be presented in the next few days, what are the hopes and expectations for the sports sector? We'll try and get various perspectives from eminent personalities associated with the sector who are now joining us on the program. In fact, I'm pleased to welcome on the program today Deepa Malik, athlete and Paralympian. She's a Padma Shri, Khel Ratna and Arjuna awardee. Thank you, Deepa ji, for joining us on Sansad TV once again. I also have with me Dr. P.S.M. Chandran. He's member anti-doping panel, the National Anti-Doping Agency. Welcome to Sansad TV, Dr. Chandran. And I also have with me Professor Vivek Pandey. He's Vice Chancellor, Rani Lakshmi Bai National Institute of Physical Education. Professor Pandey, thanks for being with us on the program today. Deepa ji, let me begin the program today with you. So as I mentioned in my introduction remarks that, the year 2020 and 2021, worldwide for every sector of the economy has been very, very difficult and no different for sports as well. But despite the, dip in the budget, contraction in revenue, the year 2021 for the Indian sports sector was quite remarkable. We saw the highest medal haul at the Tokyo Olympics and the Paralympics, at various other world tournaments as well. Our athletes, our sports persons brought laurels to the country. Now, help us understand what are the factors which are powering the Indian sports sector despite these constraints that we have faced.
I will begin to say that the training programs were structured, closely followed. Somewhere I feel pandemic helped because everybody had to be continuously in a bio bubble. So there was a very, strict focus on keeping them in a particular place, keeping them safe, away from COVID. And they were always under a scanner. So I think that focus and that particular thing of pandemic in somehow helped because there was extra vigilance, extra attention paid to the health of the athletes and in the bargain to the continuity of camps. Continuity of training, because we were overtly conscious about the fact that we are not able to travel, we are not able to perform outside, we are not able to undertake. At least I was running a federation in the pandemic times, and for me it was a transition from being an athlete to an administrator, and my conscious effort was continuously that there should not be a break in the training, there should be total health. And when there were no sporting activities happening, we were engaging them for their mental well-being and for their communication into webinars which were focused towards health, awareness towards doping, injury management, physiotherapy, fitness. So the athlete emerged with a holistic approach to the training thanks to the pandemic and thanks to these bio bubbles and thanks to alternating their trainings between educational programs and the physical training. So that was a great, because when all this was possible because the policies and the funding were also directed in that manner.
Mhm.
What got neglected was the next gen in the pipeline, because that was about Tokyo Paralympics, Olympics. But the continuity to find new talent, the continuity to keep the B level athletes who become our medal pool for the Asian Games, for South Asian Games, for Grand Prix, because medal has to be a consistent crop. You know, it has to
Absolutely.
keep coming
Yes.
for a country to be recognized. So I think that is where we lost out. But of course, and once again, when we jump started with such a good performance at Tokyo, pandemic is back, and I'm again struggling with national championships. I'm again struggling with their training. I'm again struggling with the new talent to go out there and get medically classified. So yes, it's been a sweet and sour experience as an administrator. Overall, very happy that we brought home such amazing results from Tokyo.
Okay. Professor Pandey, so despite challenges, what we've seen in the year gone by, we've navigated through them. The sports personalities have performed exceptionally well despite being in the face of adversity. Now going forth, the expectations, the hopes for the sports sector from the budget.
See, let me first agree to Deepa Madam Ji that it is really the bubble has helped a lot in just giving a type of challenge, and the social blockage has more helped them in concentrating more about their performances. And then it was a challenge also to let us come out with this stigma that the health problems are there, and I think let us do the best. That was the thing. Now let us come to the economic thing, that it is a really important thing that we are focusing on economy and other things also, because actually we have failed in the sports industry to expose the best things in sports. What are the things? The thing is that we are focusing, or we concentrate more on that we are spending here, we are not spending here. The thing is that I think we should focus more on what can we earn from sports as an industry.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever we earn, we can divert or deviate it to the sports performers. That's a very big issue. And I feel that the revenue generation in sports has also should be taken into consideration. For that, I will suggest that we should make the rules and for the industry slightly more easier, more helpful. Because when we see the equipments or gadgets and other things coming from Taiwan or Vietnam or even Bangladesh, it's slightly sometimes we have to ponder about the things that how we are missing in earning that thing, how we are missing to them in giving the conditions, better conditions to the big players in the sports industry, so that they should come in India only and help in contributing to the economy of Indian sports or Indian well-being or fitness, whatever you call it as. Because sports we can take in two ways. One is the sports which we are going for the Olympics, and other sports which I will say just for play, fun, and well-being and health. So that both the things have to be seen from economic point of view, and because the ultimate thing is for me in sports is sports as if it is real. Real that helps us to challenge others, and winning is the thing when we take it as it is real. From our barbaric times, that when we are thinking of the sports, yes, we have to beat someone. Sports help us in doing that thing now without actually beating them physically. So we have to see from that point of view, and then we have to increase the number of participation. And for increasing number of participation, or from government putting up more and more money, we have to generate money.
Certainly.
And from that point of view, I'm talking about that we have to make the things easier for them. I think sports industry, tourism is also a very big thing where we are lacking. Of course, from yoga's point of view, we have started earning slightly better, because it is giving some leverage to this economic boosting for the industry, and it can help in sports also. And then I think health and fitness, when we talk about economic thing, I think whatever we save, whatever we spend in sports, it is a very common thing, very well-known thing. We can save that thing in spending in health.
Absolutely. Professor Pandey, so there are several things that absolutely we need to work upon and strengthen in the times to come. But Dr. Chandran, coming to you for your perspective to understand, when we say winning should be important and that our sports personalities should improve their performance, should continue to bring in more medals, it should be a consistent process. It all boils down to how they are nurtured, how their health and well-being is taken care of. And what we've seen in recent times is that despite our good performance, the Indian sports sector has also not been left untouched by the scourge of doping. How can we ensure that the process of nurturing our young sports personalities is so effective, so efficient, that they do not have to resort to shortcuts?
See, this particular last Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics proved one thing beyond doubt. You spend money in sports, the results will come. And this is the first time India got so many medals in both Olympics and Paralympics. And that's a great achievement for the government as well as for citizens. And government was ready to spend money. And I would like to compliment the government for spending the money very usefully, because they brought in sports sciences into the training. And the support staff which has been given to all the athletes, tremendous support they got to scientific support. They got physios, they got trainers, they got mental trainers, they got foreign coaches. Everybody came in and they pulled in the effort to bring the medals. And doping is, unfortunately, what happened, we give too much emphasis on talking about doping when we talk about positive things. Doping is not a positive, it's a negative aspect of sports. And you remember that in the last Olympics and Paralympics, no Indian tested positive of dope. That is a great achievement for NADA, who kept the athletes clean. Mm-hmm. There's a tremendous achievement in spite of not having the National Dope Testing Laboratory functioning. They had problems. They sent the samples abroad and they selected the right approach. And we came out very clean in the Olympics and Paralympics. That's a great achievement. And coming to the funding part, the top scheme was a tremendous positive approach towards sports. And they selected the right athletes, gave the up-to-date training and the equipment they provided and the scientific package all together, everything put together. They showed the results also finally. And if the government bring in scientific input in the sport, we are going to get more medals. And talking too much about sport, we will not bring medals. It is input which matters, and input has come from science and technology. Okay. And government has realized. And moreover, if you know that the government has brought in sports medicine in a big way in this country, they have started. Government has funded universities to start sports medicine courses and sports science courses. Mm-hmm. And they are doing a tremendous job. And the new institute, sports science institute, government is planning. That will give great impetus to sports, new sports culture in the country.
Okay, Deepa ji, so what we have seen, there have been multiple initiatives, despite the budget being slashed in times of the pandemic. There were constraints, obviously, there were limitations. But what we have seen, on the other hand, there have been multiple initiatives that have been undertaken by the government in recent years, like Khelo India, to nurture, to promote sports in the country. How do you see them actually bring about a change on the ground? Because I think in India, the biggest challenge is to make people realize the importance of sports, the kind of change it can bring about, the kind of empowerment it can bring about in individuals and society. So how are we aiming to bring that kind of transition?
Government initiatives are not just around these sports, Tina. If you see how sports persons are being encouraged to become brand ambassadors of government initiatives, taking them to other initiatives like Accessible India campaign, Clean India campaign. Recently, Honorable Prime Minister Sir's vision has been that every athlete has to cover at least 75 schools. Meet the Champions initiative introduced. Fit India is there. Yoga has been revived. Mental well-being has been stressed upon. And personally, himself, Prime Minister Sir, has engaged in interactive sessions, giving a morale boosting to all the athletes, talking about sports in Mann Ki Baat repeatedly, and various funding programs that have come forward. Everything is moved in a positive direction, and the results have shown because of that. And you are very right that sports has become a great tool to change the mindsets. I remember when I had got paralyzed, I was being called a burden in the house. When I won medals, they said, हमारे गांव का शेर है, whereas I'm a daughter-in-law of the village, and yet they're calling me a sher despite my age being 45 years and my body being totally paralyzed. That's the shift. Now when girls are playing kabaddi, they're wearing shorts, short hair, and the grandparents are sitting, and this I have seen in village because I've personally engaged in creating a younger talent pool in 3 villages in Haryana, rural areas. So the shift is clearly showing that firstly, India has fared so well even during the pandemic when it comes to immunity. We have done far better than any other country in the world. That is because overall we are looking at health. We are getting conscious about fitness, and slowly we are turning into a sporting nation. If a Paralympian is celebrated at par with an Olympian medal, the shift is clearly showing. This is new India becoming inclusive India, becoming healthier India, breaking taboos, breaking stereotypes. I am a Fit India campaign ambassador, a woman in chest below paralysis. So are my fellow medal winners from Paralympics. Now, today, corporates are using us as motivational speakers. They're inviting us as their brand ambassadors. Shift is showing very, very aggressively. And as far as Paralympics is concerned, I think overnight, our stature has changed. Overnight, with 19 medals in Tokyo, more is expected of us.
Absolutely.
And
And
people
it's
want to
heartening
hear
to
us
actually hear and see stories of empowerment coming out of different corners. And Deepaji, you've been an inspiration for young athletes. But Professor Pandey, there is a lot that needs to be done. We say India lives in its villages, and now, of course, the focus has to shift. So when we talk about strengthening our sports ecosystem, we need to also focus on areas which are inaccessible, where there are more efforts that are required to promote this culture of sports. So what are the initiatives that are required to actually strengthen this rural ecosystem that we're talking about?
Rightly said, madam, it's a very important factor because we are the beginners in spreading this Khelo India movement and all other government efforts. But I feel that there should be now lateral distribution also in the expansion of these facilities. They are scattered and focused. Of course, the conditions or the sports achievement of those areas have deviated the focus of the government also to this area. But now we are seeing that in kabaddi, as you see, your cricket, you see, now, because of the expansion, the players are coming from different areas and different backgrounds also. In the similar way now, as you have said, that in villages, in backward areas, we have to go and we have to work on expanding the sports eco-culture in those cities also, so that they get the facilities. I was reading the thing which you have supplied, and the movement is towards those things that we are expanding. But a lot of work has to be done in reaching to the extremes. We are seeing that football is coming from Jammu and Kashmir, cricketer has come from Kashmir. Now the similar mentality has to be developed in all the areas, especially in Paralympics also, because the thing which was a taboo, now all of a sudden people are coming out and they are not hesitant in exposing themselves and telling that yes, they are with this thing, still they are achieving.
Certainly.
Achieving, and they are really now considered they are real heroes.
Yes.
I was just seeing Deepa madam when I was sitting here, and just I was seeing that that how much she has given to the country, how much boost she has given to the situation where the people were hesitant in telling about their deficiencies, and now they are coming out in the same way. Now it has really to work hard. We have to reach to the extremes now. That is very, very important. And we have to focus now. We
Absolutely.
are reaching the main cities, to the hubs. But now, still,
it has to percolate to tier 2, tier 3 cities, also the rural setup. Dr. Chandran, let me come to you because obviously, you know, we've been talking about how there is a lot of scope for improvement further. The year 2021 has been good despite being in the face of adversity, despite the multiple limitations that the pandemic brought before us. how do you look at the coming year for the sports sector in the country? What more needs to be done? There has been a lot of thrust in recent years, but what is the way ahead now? Dr. Chandran.
I have got one opinion which I have been expressing in many forums. Most of our sportsmen come from economically weaker section of the society, and they need funds. And government cannot always come forward and give funding for sports. There is a limitation for the government. Corporate sector has come in, they are doing, but I always wonder why the banks don't come out and give loans to sports person for training and competition, participation competitions. What stops them from giving loans? And if they give loans, if they achieve medals, they can write off the loans. It is a great credit to the bank as well. And the banks I tried my best to impress upon the banks, but the response has been poor. I wonder why the banks are hesitant to give loans. You can give education loan, you can get a loan for a house, you can get a loan for buying a buffalo, you can get a loan for buying a car, but you can't get a loan for training and competition in sports. Why not?
Yes,
why is it happening?
Very important point, yes.
And another thing I want to tell is that basically I'm a sports doctor, but I was wondering how many of children are tuned to do skipping as a means to exercise. The symbolism of exercise, skipping, how many people do skipping as an exercise in schools? And we talk very long, very big about elite training and everything, but we don't do that. Why don't we incorporate dance as a means of fitness means?
Absolutely. Deepaji, Dr. Chandran spoke about certain disparities, and this brings me to the question. We are a cricket-loving nation. We are, in fact, obsessed with cricket. And this is the bane of Indian sports, that if we combine all sports together, the kind of revenue, the money that they will have put together will not even be a quarter of what we will see with Indian cricket. And we need to end this kind of disparity. We need to start treating all kinds of sports at par with cricket, promote and give the same kind of respect. So what is the way forward? As an athlete, what do you think should be done to end this disparity?
The disparity will continue. You can't stop it. It will be there because cricket is well organized. They make money and they spend it on developing cricket. If the other sports organizations also generate money, they can spend it.
Okay,
but they have to have a plan for that. But we don't run after cricket. Let them survive. Let them do well. That is their job.
Okay, Mr. Chandran, let me also take that question to Deepaji. The same question, Deepaji. Yes, the challenge is to end this disparity.
Tina, I would agree with Dr. Chandran that what cricket is doing should be taken as an example for everybody to follow, because they have been able to create a sporting culture and the love for the sport. Their module is a very functional module which has proved that it can be done. So other sports have to just follow the suit. And definitely now, I think gold has a new name. It is Neeraj. Things are psychologically shifting. Now, people are talking about, imagine we used to struggle as people with disability to be able to drive a car, to customize a car. Here, Anand Mahindra ji has created customized cars, put the names of the athletes and reached it to their homes. So there is a shift. The kind of social media attention that Paralympics got, the Indian para athletes updates got, was shocking to the International Paralympic Committee and the rest of the world. We were getting hits on millions and millions. So that means country is now ready. Social media is ready to talk about other sports. This is a good season, good time, good germination, good advancement of sports. The culture has set in. Prime Minister Sir has been very successful in getting people's attention. I think he's really taken it very well, starting with yoga to fitness to mental well-being, and then ending it with sports.
Certainly, and we hope that with this kind of attention and motivation, we will see hundreds more Neerajs coming forth, bringing medals for the country, bringing gold for the country, and bringing laurels to the country. So let's hope that with the upcoming budget, the sports sector gets the kind of budget that it requires to fulfill the needs of the sports personalities as well. Yes.
Can I just add one line here? Because right now we as Paralympians were only able to participate in 9 sports. There are 22 summer Paralympic sports. now we need that much more, people are hungry for more, country is hungry for more. So we need, Target Olympic Podium Scheme has somehow given us an estimation as to, in making of one medal, what is the kind of funding required. So to multiply them so many times, we have to also multiply the budget so many times.
Certainly, and we hope that the expectations of the sector will be fulfilled, if not this year, because we are still in the amidst the pandemic. Hopefully, in the next few years, the sports sector will get the kind of attention that it requires. Time is running out. I'll have to wind up the discussion. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program today, sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers as well. It was indeed a pleasure having you on the program today. So that's it from us on this edition of Perspective. Thanks very much to our viewers as well for their time.